Hey there, PPL students. If you're gearing up for your ground exam and you need to absolutely lock down your taxiway knowledge, well, you're in exactly the right place. Today's explainer is a high-energy, rapid-fire breakdown of everything you gotta know about mandatory taxiway signs to absolutely crush this part of your test. So let's get to work. Okay, let's dive right into this. We are getting straight to the facts today. No fluff, no filler, just exactly what you need to understand to pass your exam with total confidence.
Section 1. Mastering mandatory surface signs, the non-negotiables of the tarmac.
All right, so the absolute most crucial memory aid for your exam is this. Whenever you see white characters on a red background, I want literal alarms going off in your head that say, stop and get clearance. Red always, always means mandatory. If you taxi past one of these red signs without specific air traffic control clearance, you are busting a major rule. It's really that simple. Red means stop, read it, and wait for permission. Now, there are 3 distinct types of mandatory surface signs that you're going to need to readily identify on the test. First up, we've got the Runway Taxi-Holding Position, or RTHP. Second is the Intermediate Taxi-Holding Position, the ITHP. And third is your classic no entry sign, which you'll probably recognize right away as that bold red circle with a horizontal white line right across the middle. Now, what's really interesting about this is the huge functional difference between an RTHP and an ITHP. You know, they look incredibly similar, white text, red background, but their actual jobs are completely different. An RTHP is stationed there to protect active runways from incursions. An ITHP, on the other hand, like maybe a B2 sign you might see, is specifically designed to protect a priority route on a taxiway. Knowing the difference between protecting a runway and protecting a priority taxiway route is literally a guaranteed point on your exam. Keep them completely separate in your mind. Section 2, Decoding Holding Positions, Reading the Red Signs. Okay, I'm going to give you a quick warning right now. This is exactly where the exam questions love to get tricky, so pay close attention. Let's break down the taxonomy of these complex alphanumeric signs. A standard 27 or 09-27 sign is just your standard visual RTHP. Now, it can also serve as a cat eye holding position, but only if the visual and cat eye spots happen to be co-located at the exact same point. But look at what happens when we append categories to the text. If you see a 27 cat eye sign, that specifically denotes a cat eye RTHP. Mentally, that should tell you that the standard visual holding position is actually located further up, closer to the runway itself. The exact same logic applies for a 27 cat 2 sign. It means both the visual and the cat eye holding lines are located closer to the runway than where your aircraft is currently sitting. Building right on that logic, when you encounter a 0927 cat 3 sign, you know you're sitting pretty far back. The Cat 2, Cat 1, and visual lines are all located ahead of you, closer to the runway edge. And this brilliantly illustrates our final example, the combined sign 27 Cat I/2/3. This tells you that all of those specific ILS holding positions are grouped at that exact coincident spot right where you are. But remember the golden rule here. Even with a combined ILS sign, a standard visual holding position might still be established closer to the runway. All right, time for a quick brain break. Why did the student pilot just sit there on the taxiway? Because they heard it was a holding position. Okay, I know you're probably groaning right now, but look, we kind of have to laugh a little bit while we're cramming this much data into our heads, right? Take a deep breath. Let's pivot back to the serious stuff. Section 3, ILS systems and runway setbacks. Why distance matters. To really cement this for the exam, you need to understand the actual physical layout of these holding positions out on the tarmac. Like, why are they spaced out the way they are? Let's visualize this spatial progression together. I want you to imagine you're sitting on the runway center line and you start pushing backward, away from the runway down the taxiway. Closest to the runway, you'll find the visual holding position. Continuing backward, set slightly further away, is your Cat 1 RHTP. And set the furthest back from the runway environment are your Cat 2 and Cat 3 RHTPs. Basically, as the Roman numerals get higher, the holding position gets pushed further away. So what's the actual why behind all this distance? This is a massive concept for your exam. The simple answer is this: greater setbacks equal ILS protection. These associated RTHPs are set progressively farther back from the runway specifically to provide greater protection to those highly sensitive instrument landing systems. Think about it for a second. A massive metal aircraft sitting way too close to the runway can act like a giant reflector. It can literally scramble and distort the precise radio waves the ILS uses, completely ruining the instrument approach for another aircraft coming in through heavy fog or low clouds. So we push you back to keep those signals perfectly clean.
Now let's look at the practical operational application of this. Air traffic control's job is obviously to keep things safe, but they also really need to expedite traffic flow. So when the weather is absolutely beautiful, completely clear, and low visibility procedures are not in operation, ATC doesn't need to protect those ILS signals as strictly. In those pristine conditions, they'll use that closer visual or cat-eye holding position. This simply allows your aircraft to stage closer to the runway edge, meaning it takes you way less time to line up and wait, and that speeds up the overall traffic flow for the entire airport safely.
So I want to leave you with a thought here. The next time you're taxing out for a flight, ask yourself, are you just blindly following yellow lines and red signs on the pavement, or are you actively protecting the airspace? Understanding the actual meaning behind these holding positions means you understand exactly how your single aircraft fits into the safety of the entire complex airfield system. And honestly, that is the exact mindset of a safe, prepared pilot. You have absolutely got this. Go in there, trust your studying, and ace that ground exam. If you found this rapid-fire explainer helpful for your studying, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more high-yield PPL study guides. We'll see you up in the skies, and good luck.